up 3 years to 1969. Special to me because our presenter tonight, as well as our recipient, were both classmates of mine. I graduated in 1969 with these people. There's a pretty good contingent of class of 69 people here tonight. Our class is very, very tight. They have breakfast once a month all the time, and the crowd continues to grow at the Railroad Inn, and we have a lot of fun. But anyway, to make our presentation to Hall of Famer Tony Miller is his classmate and State Representative David Yarde. David?
I'd like to first of all thank Mark and the Garrett State Bank and everybody that has had a hand in putting this event together tonight. What an honor to be here and to look out at a crowd like this and to see people from classes of many years ago as well as recent classes, and that speaks so well for our gentlemen who are being honored here tonight. There are many people, many naysayers, that say an evening like this should not be happening. Small town, small high school. The only way you get a quality education is from a big school. The only way you're going to pick up a scholarship or be an athlete of any type is going to be coming from a big school. And boy, do we prove them wrong here at Garrett year after year after year. Not only in the past, but in the present, as we will in the future. We need to take a look here at the total program that Garrett and this community has offered people like Jeff and Tony and Chuck and that John has put together here. We have leaders at every walk of life throughout the world here. They're Garrett High School graduates. We have responsible citizens. We have great family members. We have members with values that are instilled by a small community that you don't find anywhere else, especially in big communities. You have athletes that have worked hard, went on. They've all become ambassadors here. They represent us well yet to this day. And for many, many years, people will still be talking about these four gentlemen, not only in the state of Indiana, but throughout the Midwest. You gentlemen are as famous as Bobby Plump and the Milan team. Maybe you don't realize that, but people talk about you in reverence wherever we go. It's real easy to talk about my good friend Tony Miller. Tony doesn't know this, but over the years, I have used Tony as a role model, as a person with a high work ethic, in talking to young people and adults, because Tony not only raised the bar, Tony set the bar. And I'd like to take a few minutes and just talk about that, because a lot of people don't realize the sacrifices that Tony made over the years. Tony was never, to me, was never blessed as a natural athlete. Tony was never blessed as a real gifted student. But Tony had one thing going. He had drive and dedication that not only put him at the top, but surpassed him at the top. I've never in my life seen anybody work as hard as Tony Miller in everything he did. When it was athletics, nobody worked harder than Tony. When we were young, if we had a snow day and the snow was piled up, if you could drive by Miller's house out there at Holiday Lake, you'd see the basketball court cleared off. Tony was out there shooting baskets when everybody else was inside. He'd be out there in the morning. He'd be out there at night. Tony played two sports in the spring. He ran track and he played baseball. And Tony would go to baseball practice first when we were out there doing track practice after school. And about 5:30, 6 o'clock, as we were starting to head to the locker room, Tony would be coming in from baseball practice and would start his track workout by himself. And he would work for 2 hours out there every night by himself. He had his cards, he knew what to do. But he would go out there and never shortchange himself. He would work, he would run, he would get sick, he would go back and finish his workout, and he did his day after day after day. That's dedication. I've never seen anybody since do anything like that, like Tony Miller. And I've always admired Tony for his work ethic. Academics were the same way. Tony would be the first one in the classroom, he was the last one out. When we were in study hall, Tony would be sitting off by himself along the wall. When the bell would ring, Tony would still be there almost late for class because he was still trying to finish up the last bit of something there. Summertime, when people were at the pool, you never saw Tony much in the summer. Tony was working. He was working the sports. He was working on conditioning, and it goes on and on and on. And sometimes people would think Tony was maybe a little unapproachable. It wasn't. He was so focused on what he was doing and where he wanted to go that you seldom see that in a young man. The drive, the determination, and the effort that made Tony Miller a true competitor, not only in athletics, but in the academic world. Because of his athletic ability, Tony had many major scholarship offers and elected to go to the University of Florida. Loved to see him been a Hoosier, but Florida was very lucky to land Tony. Tony went on to be an academic All-American at Florida, set scoring records. He was selected to the Florida Hall of Fame, went on to a successful career in medicine, which is no easy task. While studying in med school, pre-med, and being a full-time athlete, Tony Miller did it. Went on to establish a very, very highly successful, respected podiatry practice in central Indiana with several offices. And Tony's clients are actually a who's who of athletics teams that call Tony their podiatrist. The Pacers, the Colts, IU, Purdue, Notre Dame, and the list goes on and on and on, of major sport teams, of major universities, smaller universities that count on this man and his work to keep their athletes going. So, Tony, it's really easy to talk about you because you raised the bar extremely high. And I'm grateful and very proud to be a friend of yours. I've always admired your work ethic, your academic ability through hard work, in the same way with athletics there. And then in your professional career, you never quit. And that's the thing that probably motivated me more than anything, is to think back to Tony Miller. He never quit. He never quit. All of this on his own. All of this on his own, with the drive and determination. It's seldom seen today. But it is a great honor to recognize Tony. Just can't say enough good about Tony Miller. And what he stands for as an individual, his character, and everything connected with it. So Tony, congratulations on your honor.